Okay, so first of all, it's important that you have a surface that's safe. I'm actually visiting my parents right now, and this is their study, and it's a Murphy bed. So the first thing that's important is that it's a sleep surface that's firm, so a mattress that falls more on the firm side. The way that I would test a mattress is if you go to lay on it and you put your child next to you and they immediately roll into you because of gravity, I would say that's too soft of a sleep surface. But if you can put them next to you and they would take some effort to roll over, which Max can't really do much rolling yet at his current stage. It's different. It's not just based on age, but just development is different for every baby. If your baby is rolling a lot, you want not just a firm mattress, but also you would want to make sure that there are some barriers on the sides of the bed, or that the bed is on the floor and there's a soft rug that also is a safe rug, so soft but not something that could suffocate them if they were to roll over onto their face. So something fluffy would probably not be a good choice, but if you have a nice kind of smushy carpet that doesn't have stuff sticking out, and also same thing where they wouldn't be rolling around due to their weight and gravity, then that's a good option as well. So because Max isn't able to roll in the night on his own yet, we're okay not having barriers on the side yet. This bed is only for me and Max to sleep in, but at home I have a California king size and my husband sleeps on the other side of me. Um, we still keep Max a good distance away from the edge where he would have to roll a few times to fall off. And so far, we've been doing this for almost 3 months now, because I started co-sleeping pretty early, and we've had no issue of him rolling away from me. Something that I learned from Sweet Sleep from the La Leche League, it's a great book. I highly recommend it. The link is in the description too. Is that babies are like heat-seeking missiles, and they want to stay close to their parent. So the fear of them really just traveling off in the night is a little bit an ill-advised fear. They do want to be close to you, and if you're a new parent, you're probably very aware of how much they like to be attached to your body, and it doesn't really change that much during the night, especially if they're tired like you are. Okay, so we have a firm mattress on the bed. Because it's a Murphy bed, I have stuffed some pillows back in the opening behind the bed, just in case, on the very off chance that Max were to like travel up that way somehow. But I will explain to you how that's nearly physically impossible for him to do. But still, taking those extra precautions can make you feel a lot more confident and comfortable. And then we have a lightweight sheet. Now, if you're somewhere where it's very cold, your options are, bundle up you and bundle up the baby with clothes that are still snug fitting. You don't want anything too loose. This is not something I would sleep in with Max. I actually typically sleep without a top on at all, either completely topless or with a comfortable bra. But because this is going on the internet, I've got something on today, but just so you know, you wouldn't want to be wearing something that could smother your child either. So keep your clothing form-fitting and their clothing form-fitting as well. But you can make it warm as you need to. They say that babies only need really one additional layer to what you need. But do keep in mind that not to let them overheat, because they don't produce sweat when they're this little, so their body isn't regulating their temperature very well, and they can actually overheat, break out into fever, and get ill from being too warm. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I do have also this other blanket. So something like this is a heavier blanket. It's not super heavy, but it's got a little weight to it. It's very small. So if I'm cold, because I run cold, he's going to be right up on my body, and babies really get warm from your body warmth, but sometimes the parent doesn't get as warmed up by that body heat as the infant does. I can throw that like over my lower half of my body, and that gives me a little bit more warmth if I need it. I also don't love sleeping with a lot of clothes on. It's just not comfortable for me. So I'd rather throw that blanket over my legs than sleep with pants on, even when it's really cold in the house. That's just my preference. But a lightweight sheet on the bed is great. You still don't want it to go up over them. So I'll start demonstrating now, because I could be doing that while I'm explaining this. Max is getting a little fussy and tired, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so first you could just lay your baby on the bed on their back. He's holding on to me. And then on either side, you can come up next to them, and Mom, I'll have you kind of hold it overhead a little bit more, and maybe walk over here, right there, and kind of overhead. Okay, so notice that my pillow is like over to the side, not anywhere near him. That being, and that there's like no other pillows on the bed. So the pillow is just for me. You don't want to have any pillows on top of your baby or anywhere that they could possibly end up on the baby. But that being said, your baby's also going to be a little bit lower in the bed than you are especially if you're planning to sideline nurse through the night. So I lay down on my side, and my arm, whichever arm, depending which side I'm on, is going out all the way across like this. Now, what this creates is a physical position where he's kind of like in this U, but sometimes I straighten out my legs, and that's fine. And if I roll, I find myself always rolling out like this, away from him. It's very hard actually to roll in onto him unless you having like disjointed shoulders and you can really fully collapse into your arm like that. I find that this creates a really safety barrier for me from rolling onto him in the night. And so far, I have never woken up and been leaned in this way. It's been either completely upright or actually a little bit back. And another thing you can do is you can put another pillow behind you to support your back, especially if you have issues with your back or your hips. That can offer some really great support and give you something to kind of lay back on without feeling too far away from your baby. Because what we also want to do is be close enough that we're catching onto their cues during the night. So I wake up, I think, the moment that he wakes up. That's how it feels. Before he's even started to cry, when he's just started to stir a little bit. And then what I do is I take out the breast that's lower. I open up whatever I'm wearing, or if it's already open, I just present it to him. And right now at his stage, he's not really just grabbing it himself and finding the nipple on his own. So I guide him through that. And so let's say that now we'd be more attached like this. And if he's on his back and he doesn't roll this way on his own, I kind of roll him onto his side. I'll offer him the breast and he takes it. And I sometimes just fall asleep like that. And when I wake back up, he's sleeping perfectly, either still on his side or he's rolled back onto his back on his own. He's never just rolled all the way forward. It's kind of the same thing here where his arm is underneath. So it's less likely he's going to roll down onto his arm. He's more likely to roll back. But if you're more comfortable, you can make sure that you stay awake through the entire feeding and then gently roll them back onto their back. So once you're done feeding on one side, if you're going to nurse on both sides in one nursing session, then you can either pick up your baby, give them a little burp, and put them on the other side and do the same thing. Or what you can do is actually move yourself to the other side and roll your baby over. It's really whatever works best for you. And sometimes I do it one way and sometimes I do it the other way. It depends. If he's a little fussy after taking one side and I think he maybe needs a burp, or if I'm in a small bed like this, then I can't put him to my other side, then I'm definitely gonna, okay, so if I do have room for him on the other side and he seems like he needs a burp, I'll put him up, give him a little burp. You can actually do that by just laying them right on your belly and doing a little burp like this can work sometimes. He loves to kick with his legs, so he's like, where are we going? Okay, and another thing and then you put them on the other side and do the other breast. Or if you don't have the space to do that, you can just go to the other side of them and roll them over. So another little thing is that you can, if you would like to put the baby up in your arm while they're nursing, if that is what works best for your breasts and for your baby, you can do that as well. So you can see now that I have his head actually on my arm, kind of cradling him in. And then you can bring them a little bit closer. I'm large breasted, so I don't need him to be very close to nurse. But if you have a more petite breast, you might need to bring them closer and find that bolstering your baby up like this really helps with the dynamic a lot. And if they sleep like that, that's completely fine as well. Now he's like, are we getting boopy or not? Okay, so that's how co-sleeping has been working for us. We will eventually make the transition out of the bed and into a crib probably when he's not needing to nurse through the night anymore. But when you do that is completely up to you. There truly is no right or wrong, and don't let anyone make you feel that it is. There are plenty of babies who never co-slept who still end up getting into bed with their parents later in life and refusing to leave. Maybe because of some attachment problems from being afraid at night when they were put in their room. Who knows, right? So there's a lot of psychological theory on that. I'll refer you to another great book that I read in the description on the kind of the psychology of, how babies sleep and how that can affect them through their lives. I think it's important to get a well-rounded education as a new parent and to consider all of the options there are to you. And then at the end of the day, it's whatever works best for you and works best for your baby. And everyone should just respect each other's choices on that. So that's all. I hope you guys have a great new parenting experience, or if you're been a parent for a while and you're trying something new, I hope that this offers you some new insights or just a visual that you were needing. And take care. Bye.